Oh my God.
So I'm like, hey, man, I'll take you in the back and make you cry, like make you scream, dude. Like, what are you talking about? But if I make it, we even. So I'm like, oh, all right. So I shoot. I make it. Boom. He shot. He missed. Bam. I said, so you got me 100? And he was like, bet. I'm like, all right. So I shot. I make it. He shot. He make it. So I'm like, you still owe me 100?
Yeah.
So he like, no, we even. I'm like, I start laughing. I'm like, dude, you owe me 100.
If the opportunity presented itself against Floyd, you would have, though, even though you admire him so much and he's so great. But
Floyd, yeah, because
Crawford didn't stop there. He also pointed out how unpopular Floyd has become, accusing him of trying to steal the spotlight following his own victory over Canelo. He argued that Mayweather sets a poor example for up-and-coming fighters, saying there's nothing outside the ring in Floyd's lifestyle that deserves to be copied. This came right after Crawford's impressive win over the weekend, where he defeated Canelo Alvarez to claim the undisputed super middleweight crown. But while most expected a fresh challenger from today's active contenders, the name that surfaced was Floyd Mayweather. The 5-division champion and Hall of Famer has hinted at stepping back into the spotlight, hoping to face Crawford, the only fighter to become undisputed in 3 different weight classes.
I'm shooting the ball, and this dude just come over there and like, bet 100. I'm like, what? He like, bet 100. Bet 100 on what? He like, shot for shot, bet 100. So I'm like, so I make it, you give me a
play the part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
What do you want to see him?
In the build-up to the fight, Mayweather stayed quiet. He didn't make a prediction or show any public support for Terence "Bud" Crawford. But once Crawford got the win, Floyd quickly posted his betting slip to show off the money he made. Crawford and his fans felt he could have offered that same backing beforehand instead of waiting until the outcome was clear. Things escalated further when Mayweather jumped back on social media to call Crawford out, only for Crawford to clap back, dismissing him as out of touch and desperate.
Like I am now.
how do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
Ilia Topuria could knock out Bud Crawford on first contact. Is there any truth to it? Why is it always the MMA guys gotta go box? It doesn't sell. James Toney and the UFC lost a whole bunch of money with it. If Ilia Topuria really could beat up Terence Crawford, why didn't he go into boxing? Ilia is our champion. After seeing Conor, who could not make an amateur Olympic team, go...
The drama didn't end with Mayweather. On fight night, another storyline unfolded involving UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria. He wasn't happy that Crawford made his ring walk to Canción del Mariachi, the same track Topuria uses for his octagon entrances, originally from the film Desperado. When asked about it at the post-fight press conference, the 37-year-old Crawford brushed off the comparison. But Topuria didn't let it slide, jumping on social media to fire back. First he calls me drunk, then he comes out to my song, Topuria wrote on X. He even went a step further, saying he'd be willing to show Crawford how to really dance that mariachi in the ring, and added a warning to Canelo, telling him he'd save a round for him too.
Obviously, when I looked at it, he came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the loop in the right hands. Crawford was ready for the body shot.
Carried the song out and performed tonight. I got Mexicans and Latinos on my side as well, so.
Did you know Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC?
You said what?
Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC.
Did he? Oh, good. Good for him.
Crawford brushed off Topuria's callouts once again, labeling him a clout chaser and saying he's nowhere near the star power of someone like Conor McGregor. Speaking on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, Crawford admitted that Topuria might be chasing a payday, but he questioned the logic behind it. I don't even know what he's thinking. There's really nothing to discuss, Crawford said. He also revealed that he had never even watched Topuria fight and brought up a past encounter at the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas. According to Crawford, when they ran into each other a couple of months ago, Topuria simply greeted him with a handshake. I didn't even know who he was at the time, Crawford added. dismissing the UFC champion's sudden interest in a crossover fight.
Crawford stated, I don't know who he is. Ilya's mad. It works every time, and Ilya went crazy. Ilya's just, you don't know who I met you at this. When Ilya responds with truth, when he brings the receipts and the facts, that's what you do when you're angry.
Crawford pointed out the contradiction, saying Topuria acted respectfully when they met in person but now talks tough online, claiming he'd knock him out in the first round. If he really wanted the fight, he had the chance to tell me face to face, Crawford said, calling the behavior fake. When asked about the possibility of a boxing MMA crossover bout, Crawford dismissed the idea. While acknowledging that such fights can be financially rewarding, he said there's no real value in facing Topuria. He also rejected any comparisons to the blockbuster Mayweather vs. McGregor showdown in 2017. What would I gain from fighting him? He's nowhere near Conor McGregor's level, let's be honest, Crawford explained. He added that despite being a regular MMA fan, he's never actually seen Topuria fight. Maybe I missed something. But I just don't know the guy, he said.
Having none of it, he's like,
who the f*** is that guy?
He's not on my level. He's not on Conor McGregor's level. What the hell is going on? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Jake Paul's fighting Gervonta Davis. If that can happen, or him fighting Mike Tyson, if there's a world that we live in where that can go down and get watched by millions of people on Netflix.
Crawford kept repeating that he's never actually watched Topuria fight and insisted the two aren't comparable, especially not to someone like Conor McGregor. He said plainly that Topuria might be a good fighter, but he doesn't know him and certainly doesn't see him on McGregor's level. Topuria didn't let that slide. He fired back on X with a fiery reply, calling out Crawford's memory and his chin. You said good luck the first time we met. Your memory fails you. And soon your chin will too, Topuria wrote, promising to represent MMA if the two ever met, and declaring he'd show how real rules fighters stack up against boxing's pound-for-pound best.
Conor was always willing to risk it. Ilya, I believe, is willing to risk it. Ilya versus Crawford. Am I wasting my time talking to you guys about that? Maybe not. There's not yet something here, but there's not nothing here either.
Interestingly, not everyone agrees with Crawford's dismissal of a crossover fight. Fellow boxer Shakur Stevenson recently made a bold prediction during his appearance on Ariel Helwani's show. According to Stevenson, Crawford might actually be the one boxer capable of beating an MMA fighter in their own arena. He argued that Crawford's wrestling background from his younger days in Nebraska gives him an underrated edge, and that those early grappling skills could translate into success if he ever stepped into the octagon against someone like Topuria.
Guys got to leave Bud alone. I think Bud Crawford is just different. In a boxing ring with him, bro, you're not going to last more than one round, I don't think. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the UFC and beat the shit out of some guys too, because he got a great wrestling background.
Stevenson doubled down on his take, saying Crawford is simply built differently. He pointed out that Bud's size and strength could give him an edge over Topuria, and even went as far as to say he wouldn't be shocked if Crawford knocked him out or submitted him in an MMA fight. Stevenson's confidence comes from knowing Crawford's roots in wrestling, which he believes could carry over effectively inside the cage. While it may sound like typical fight talk, Stevenson's tone suggested he truly sees Crawford's athleticism and grappling foundation as tools that could make him dangerous in a crossover bout.
Obviously, it was a great show today. I was curious about your entrance, how you came to choose that song in particular to walk out to.
Well, you know, it was part of my outfit. The outfit was inspired by the movie Desperado. As you see, I had the guitar and everything, and my great childhood friend, Rosendo Robles, he was the one that, you know, carried the song out.
Not everyone shares Shakur Stevenson's optimism. Former two-division UFC champion Daniel Cormier offered a different perspective, arguing that a Crawford-Topuria crossover fight wouldn't play out the way some fans expect. Cormier explained that Topuria isn't a star on McGregor's level, and that past boxing versus MMA spectacles like McGregor against Mayweather or Francis Ngannou against Tyson Fury were unique because the boxers allowed their opponents to look competitive. According to Cormier, Crawford isn't the type to carry anyone in the ring. Speaking on the Good Guy, Bad Guy show, he said seeing McGregor last as long as he did with Mayweather, and Ngannou push Fury to the limit, were some of the most surprising moments he's ever witnessed in combat sports.
Terence Crawford had the goddamn audacity to walk out to Ilia Topuria's walkout song. I mean, what on earth is going on? How dare he? That is Ilia Topuria's song, okay? Ilia Topuria took exception to this in a very big way, and now these two are going back and forth. They are talking shit, and Crawford ain't having none of it.
How did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, you know, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, you know, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. You know, one where he felt like he was at the best.
Cormier went on to say that when he watched Fury and Mayweather against Ngannou and McGregor, it seemed like both heavyweights and legends had the skill to keep the fights competitive for as long as needed, almost by design. That way, fans felt they were seeing a close contest. In his view, Topuria is trying to follow McGregor's playbook, but he simply doesn't have that level of star power yet. Interestingly, Cormier also suggested that Crawford might actually gain something from facing Topuria. That might be the one thing stopping the fight from happening, he explained. But when you're Terence Crawford and you've been chasing big opportunities your entire career, maybe an Ilia Topuria matchup could turn out to be the next huge event.
In the UFC world, Ilia Topuria says that if you guys ever boxed, he would knock you out based on the first punch.
That dude drunk, you know. Hey, you know, a lot of MMA guys, they drink a lot, so he must have been on that alcohol that day.
I'm betting my money on anybody who mother used to go outside and pay kids money to beat her son up. I'm paying y'all real cash money to beat my son, and nobody got the money. I'm like, wait. I'm betting on that guy.
You betting on that guy?
Cormier added that from Crawford's perspective, there aren't many opponents who could attract a new fan base the way Topuria might. He suggested that, in some ways, there's more potential here than people realize, especially since Crawford openly respects the UFC and didn't completely dismiss Topuria when given the chance. Still, not everyone is on board with the idea. While Topuria has been vocal about his chances against the new undisputed super middleweight champion in a boxing ring, UFC veteran Michael Chiesa told MMAJunkie.com he doesn't buy into the fantasy matchup. Absolutely not, Chiesa said bluntly.
Big star, UFC, Ilia Topuria, and fight with the #1 boxer right now. If you can do that, why not do that?
We did see Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua.
And you think Topuria can fight with him?
I don't. You asked me straight up, I do not think so, because Crawford is not going to enter a fight.
Chiesa explained his stance further, pointing to the fallout of McGregor's crossover with Mayweather. We basically lost Conor to boxing after that fight, he said, adding that this isn't the direction Zuffa boxing should be heading in with someone like Topuria. Bringing him into a spectacle like that, he argued, would only play into the same formula. He also noted the key difference between Mayweather and Crawford. While Crawford can certainly sell a fight, Chiesa believes Floyd was on another level entirely when it came to promotion and self-marketing.